Hey there, and welcome to the stream. My name is Andrew, and in today's episode, we're going to do a live Q&A so I can answer any questions you have on this morning's video on how you can monetize your hobby. Whether you're a artist that does drawings, paintings, craft work, metal work, no matter what kind of hobby it is, I have given you over 20 ways that you can make money from doing your hobby, and I'm here to answer your questions from this morning's video. Let's get to it. Thank you for joining me. If you're new here, please don't forget to subscribe. If you're a member of the consulting crew, I hope you enjoy it. Let's go. As I said, welcome to the stream. My name is Andrew, and today we're going to do a live Q&A on the ways that I mentioned in this morning's video for you to be able to monetize your hobby. Doesn't matter what type of hobby it is, whether you're a music producer, a video content creator, a writer, doing crafts, doesn't matter what it is. I've got over 20 different ways for you to be able to monetize doing what you do and making money while you're doing it. So, if you have any questions, please feel free to drop them into the live chat. If you could do me one huge favor and put question in all caps to make it easier to differentiate between regular conversation and questions, it would be very helpful and greatly appreciated. So, just to recap real quick, some of the ways mentioned in this morning's video for ways that you can monetize your hobby. The first on the list is Etsy. Etsy is one of the leading sites when it comes to being able to take any kind of craft that you do and be able to sell it. Doesn't matter whether it's making jewelry, beadwork, woodwork, metalwork, doesn't really matter. Even doing digital items is possible on Etsy. You can pretty much find just about anything handmade on Etsy, including vintage items and craft supplies and all kinds of other stuff out there as well. And I have used Etsy myself. It was how I first started selling some of my craft goods and traditional items that I make for the native community. And it's fairly inexpensive. They do have a 20 to 30 cent roughly upload fee for each item that you list, and then they have a percentage that they take in a transaction fee upon the sale of your item, which is very, very small compared to some of the other sites that are out there that will literally charge you an arm and a leg just to post on their site and be able to sell. Second is Amazon Handmade. I know you're probably thinking Amazon does handmade stuff. Yes, Amazon does handmade stuff. If you're interested in finding things that are handmade, all you have to do is go up to the search bar, hit the little tab that says all, and scroll down to handmade, and it will show you everything on the Amazon site that is offered there. The link to be able to sell handmade items is in the description below. All of the sites that I am mentioning in this stream as well in the video is in the description. Next is Artfire. Artfire is another site similar to Etsy that will allow you to post your items for sale and market them online as well. Then you have Ruby Lane, which is another one of those sites that allows you to sell your craft items. It does have a little bit more of a feature to it compared to a lot of the other ones that allows you to actually see the Google Analytics of where your traffic is coming from, what countries, and so forth. Next is Store Envy, and they have 67,000 plus different brands and small artists that you can be able to search through for just about every kind of craft good out there. Next is AFTCRA. AFTCRA is another site similar to Etsy, but it is geared specifically towards the United States and North America. There is another one called Folksy that is geared towards the UK, and it is nothing but UK artists. Next is iCraft Gifts, and it is a Canadian based company, but it is open to all artists around the world. Another option is Facebook Marketplace. I know there is plenty of people on Facebook Marketplace that sell just about everything. I've seen houses for sale on there, I've seen cars for sale, I've seen craft goods, I've seen people actually do giveaways through Marketplace as well. Marketplace on Facebook is fairly simple to use, and it opens up your market to a worldwide audience. Next is Shopify. Now, myself, Shopify, I don't recommend for just starting out unless you have disposable income, which in the blind and visually impaired community, I know is not necessarily something we all have, but it is still an option for once you get going. Shopify is a paid site which charges you a minimum of $29 a month to be able to use their platform to be able to sell your products, whether it is a physical product or a digital product. Next, for our audio creators, whether you're making music, doing voice acting, or podcasting, is Spotify. Spotify does have the ability for you to be able to share your craft for free, but it also has the ability to be able to be paid as well. SoundCloud is another option for the audio nerd to where you can list things for free or be able to charge a small fee as well. It is one of the top sites within the audio industry to be able to sell your audio creations roughly between $1 and $4 is most commonly what I've seen. Next is Disc Makers. Disc Makers is a professional company that does CDs, DVDs, vinyl records, and USB drives. They also have a setup for merch design and sales. And if you don't feel like doing the mastering or engineering for your audio, you can actually have them do it. It is one of their services. They will even do your album art and things like that for your merch as well. Of course, everything there has a fee attached to it, but it is another way that you could potentially make some money. And then we have Audible. Audible is highly recommended for anybody that wants to do audio books. They also have podcasts on there as well. And those are just a few of the sites that I've mentioned in this morning's video. You also have eBay that you can go on and list any item that you made yourself or just want to get rid of from around your house, whether you go out and get things from garage sales or anything like that as well. Another option is to do the donation sites like Patreon. You can go on there, charge a small fee in order for people to view your products. You can also set it up so that it is like a membership, and for such a donation, you would get an item in return. Another way just to get a income from doing your hobby is to let people see you do it, and then they can contribute to you just because they enjoy watching your work by going to buymeacoffee.com or Ko-Fi, and that will allow you to collect donations. Another option is PayPal. I know you're probably thinking, why PayPal? Well, you can actually set it up so you have a direct link for you to where you can list it per se in your YouTube videos or on your Facebook page or any of your social media, and state that here, this item is for sale and you can send the payment here. Another way is to create a membership group, and then you can do the same thing. It's easier to have the direct link compared to going out and giving them the nice long one and trying to get everybody to remember a specific long listed link to your PayPal. Hey, Danny Mac, how's it going, brother? Hope you're having a good evening. If you have any questions, please feel free to drop them into the chat. Be more than happy to answer them for you. But there is literally a ton of ways that you can monetize your hobby, no matter what kind it is. Myself, I recommend using Etsy. It is one of the absolute easiest and cheapest ways for you to do it. Now, a couple of them that I did mention within that list are actually set up similar to Etsy, but they have less limitation on the aspects of dealing with your customers or being of a type that's going to rip you off. And I'm not saying that Etsy's going to rip you off, but they have less fees than all the others. Like, there's a couple of them that will only charge you to list your item. After that, there's no commission fee, there's no transaction fee. And that, in the long run, means more money in your pocket. Then there is the couple of paid services that you can use, as I mentioned, like disc makers. They more for audio, but you can also use them for video as well. Shopify is on the more expensive side at $29 a month minimum, and they give you a online store. They'll help you with building an email list. You can do point of sale if you want to just run everything offline compared to online, or if you want to run both. And they handle a lot of different business situations for you through their service. They also have the ability for you to create designs and put it on their products, and then they will sell it for you. Yeah, I sold myself out, but they demanded a refund because I was defective. You and me both, brother. Uh, I am totally with you on that one. Eventually, Danny, we won't have to worry. We'll find somebody that we'll be able to sell ourselves to, and they won't get rid of us. But there is literally a handful of ways, just like Etsy, that you can do to be able to sell your craft goods, no matter what type it is. As long as it's handmade, you're good to go. And then you have the couple of options for the paid services, for music and podcasts and audiobooks like that. And one that I should mention as well for the audiobook side or digital book side is the KDP and the ACX, which is Kindle Direct Publishing, and the Audiobook Exchange, which is offered also through Amazon. Hey, Kim, hope you're having a good evening. I managed to get onto Clubhouse today, and I have followed you. Danny Mac, are you on Clubhouse? I was like super excited. The early access for the Android side of the app has finally gone through, and Pat Flynn's assistant was nice enough to give me my invite today so I could be on the platform now. I currently do not have any invites to send out, but I will in the near future as I am new to the platform for Clubhouse. I will be creating a room and things like that for us later on this evening and so forth for our community members as well. No worries, Danny Mac. I just figured I would ask because I want to get anybody that is in the consulting crew onto my list. That way, when I go in to do our consulting crew group, I will be able to add everybody that is on that app. So far, I have Greg from the Blind Guy Show and Kim both. They were the first ones that I managed to find. Yeah, I figured as much, Kim. The more I'm on there, the more I'll get. And with it being the new thing for me on the Android, I will definitely be on there getting to know the layout of how it works and everything else over the next few days. It'll be my new muse. And then on top of it, once we do a little bit more, I will also go through and set it up so that we can do live streams at the same time as well. Do you have any questions on the ways that you can monetize your hobby? Hey Boonsong, thank you for being here. Hope you're having a good evening. Or should I say early morning? Thank you for the wow on Facebook. It's greatly appreciated. I know we're a little bit late today compared to our usual schedule because I had a couple of Zoom meetings and community streams that I had to go to. But a little bit late's better than not at all. I did get my new microphone for the camera today, and I am still waiting on Amazon because, heaven forbid they have things set up to where it goes a little bit better. They they said both items were going to be delivered today by 10 p.m. and only one of them has been marked out for delivery and made it by 1 o'clock this afternoon, but we'll check it out. Maybe not yet. Try to keep social media to a minimum. No problem, Danny. I wanted to get onto there to not only check it out, but I have heard so many of our community members are on there, and I know a lot of the influencers are on there. My mentors are all on there. So I wanted to check it out because if I have a chance to listen to my mentors or any of the other influencers that I follow on there, it's worth it because you never know what extra little tips and tricks you might learn. Yeah. Yep. In order to get onto Clubhouse, you either have to be on iPhone and get an invite somebody from somebody already on there, or now on Android and have somebody that can invite you as well. It's a it's a bit weird on how they set it up that way, but it's not entirely all that bad because it does make sure that it's not just a senseless kind of app that you use. They want you to interact with it, and instead of being like a Discord kind of thing where you get onto it, you follow something or become a part of a group and then just say screw it and don't use it at all. Because I do know there's a lot of people out there like that. It kind of like, it's almost like our non existent subscribers here on YouTube. Just saying, people friend you and just subscribe for like 2 or 3 videos and then they just ignore all of them after that. But from what I understand, it's it's a fairly nice setup to where kind of like how we have the consulting crew, we can all go in there and chat just about anything and others can join us as well. Hey, Manny. Thanks for joining me, brother. Hope you're having a good early evening. Hope you and your wife had a good Mother's Day. Hey, Vidal, how you doing? Hope you're having a good evening as well. If you have any questions about this morning's video, please feel free to drop them in the chat and I'll be more than happy to answer them for you. I know this morning's video was a little bit long, but I wanted to make sure that I gave all the possible ways for you to monetize your hobby in one video rather than breaking it up. Especially when it was posted into our consulting crew group and there was no real specifics on what kind of hobby, so I just worked around the idea of any hobby. So that's why they are plentiful in the different platforms as well, because I could have probably put it to like the top 10 for arts and crafts, painting, and things like that. And then the top 5 for audio, and top 3 or 4 for donations. But figured, what, 22 different ways that you can monetize a hobby in one video was good enough. And one of them joyous things that require a lot of research. Well, kinda. There's a bit of research that went into it, but not like overly done, in my opinion. Well, what is your hobby, Kim? Because you might say it's not a hobby to monetize, but I'm pretty sure that it may be. Because just about any hobby can be monetized in one form or another. Like, for instance, if you're a blogger, most people don't think of it, but I've mentioned it in previous videos and streams, but you can actually monetize a blog, whether it's on a website that you have a domain for, or whether it's on a free WordPress site or any other free blog site. You can use AdSense. And I'm not talking the YouTube AdSense, but it's the same concept. And if you do AdSense through Google, it gives them the ability to post ads on your blog or your website. And for every 1,000 views that you get on those ads, you don't even have to get a purchase through those ads. As long as they view those ads, you get revenue from every 1,000 people that look at them. And real quickly, I will go through the list again to just recap real quick. You have AdSense, AftCRA, ArtFire, Amazon Handmade, Audible, Buy Me a Coffee, Disc Makers, eBay, Etsy, Facebook Marketplace, Folksy, iCraft Gifts, Ko-Fi, Patreon, PayPal, Ruby Lane, Shopify, SoundCloud, Spotify, Store Envy, Teespring, Vimeo, and YouTube. I'm still working on my book, so there's still some time before I can monetize. Well, you might still be working on your book, but you could technically still monetize even before your book is done, in a sense, Vidal. If you were to use like Buy Me a Coffee, Ko-Fi, or Patreon, you could do like a donation type of thing. Those that support you in your community could use Buy Me a Coffee or Ko-Fi and donate to you, which you could use towards whatever publishing costs. If you were going to a book publisher, it could cover the expenses of your printing. If you were going to do it yourself, it could assist in the editing and cover art. It could go for you to be able to go out per se to a coffee shop and actually get a coffee and work on your book. If you were to do Patreon, you could set it up in the sense of like a membership, and your audience could go there, set up a account with Patreon, and then they could contribute to you donations or a membership fee at whatever you decided to do, and then you could give them perks in return. Like, just a hypothetical example would be you're in the middle of writing your book, you set up either a single tier or a multi-tier membership for it, and then depending on how much they contribute to you, you could have it set up to where you could do a reading of your book. You could do a sneak peek at your book. You could give a behind the scenes on how you were actually writing your book, what inspired you about your book. There's plenty of ways that you could be able to set up a tiered system to get revenue for creating your book before it's even finished. Ali Jazeera, thank you for joining. Greatly appreciated. Um, when it comes to being an author, yes, it is a little bit more limited for you in the sense of monetizing before your book is done, but it's still entirely possible. Another thing you could do before your book is released or finished is to make some merch. You could make a coffee cup design specifically geared towards your book. You could do just a coffee cup design geared towards you as the author. You could have your name on it, your branding on it, and those that have been in your community or know you could purchase a coffee cup or another product like that with your designs on it, or even a excerpt from your book, and be able to use that, and that also gives you an ability to monetize before your book is 100% finished. You could do a small version or a small excerpt from your book as well and do like a digital thing on Teespring and sell a a small portion of your book that you do have finished already and be like, here, this is the sneak peek, and sell it for like $2, $3. And that could generate some revenue for you as well. Um, do you have any questions that I might be able to help you with from this morning's video or in general? It doesn't have to be specifically geared towards this morning's video, whether it's something about doing content creation, mobility, you name it. You know me, I'm always here to help on anything I possibly can. Um, I was thinking about creating a different channel where I would share my writing, but I don't know how that might help. Do you mean create a new channel to be able to do your writing to where they can actually see how you're doing it, or are you talking about like reading your own book like you do on your current channel? Because if you were to read regular books like you have been on your current channel, I would say then to just do a series where you would do yours instead of one of your purchased books. Because it's still, in a sense, niche down to where what you're doing would be basically the same thing. So you could have a playlist for the books that you're reading that aren't yours, and then you could have a playlist for your books that you're reading yourself. And that also might help you with growing your channel that you have now as well. Yeah, see, I wouldn't create another channel for that. I would keep it on your current channel and just set up a playlist. That way it keeps your books separate from the other books that aren't yours. And that actually might give you an opportunity to get more viewers and subscribers on your channel as well. Because all of our community members that are either authors themselves, wannabe writers, do poetry, anything like that, or any of your friends and family might be interested in hearing what you're writing, and in which case they would go and watch more of your content as well and potentially subscribe, share it with other friends and family members, and that would increase your watch time and potentially your subscribers. And That never hurts. Mm, Whether it's friends and family that are watching or not, getting watch time, it always helps. Doesn't matter where it's from. As long as you're not paying for it. Don't buy subs and don't buy watch time. But that could be a way for you to increase on yours. um, Another way would be like I had mentioned a moment ago, you could do like a short excerpt version and be able to sell that for a couple bucks to give that like early release sneak peek of this is the kind of thing I'm writing, and then you could sell that for a couple bucks, and for every one of those, depending on the platform you used, you would make 90% roughly, if not more, of the income spent on getting that digital book. And it will say if you had a short version of excerpts at like $2 and then you had 100 people that would go and purchase it, yeah, that's $200 in total purchases. But out of that, you could roughly guesstimate about 175 of it, if not more, that would go to you. Just throwing out ideas there. Any way I can help, let me know. You can always hit me up on Instagram Messenger. So I'm curious, for those of you that are here with me live or watching this on replay, what are your hobbies? Are you somebody that likes to do drawing? Do you like to do metalwork? Are you a painter, a writer of any kind, whether it's fiction, nonfiction, poetry? Are you somebody that likes to do video creation like on YouTube? Are you somebody that likes to do music arrangements, singing? Go ahead and drop that into the live chat. If you're here with me live or if you're on the replay, go ahead, drop that down in the comment section. I'd love to hear. It will help me further give you information when it comes to monetizing your hobby besides what I've already shared, because every hobby has a different way that you can potentially be able to actually make money from it. And as I said a few moments ago, when it was asked for me to prioritize this morning's video, I was never given a specific hobby mentioned in that request. So I just went general and found as many different ways as I possibly could. Myself, one of my biggest hobbies is music creation, and I will be launching yet another channel here in the next couple days. I am in the finalizing process of getting a couple music videos done to be able to put up, because I know I can make it to where it's just the wavelength of the music showing up on screen, but I want something a little bit more than just a little thing moving. What's going on, Brother Terrence? Hope you're having a good evening. I know what your hobby is already. It's what you're doing your channel on. We're tech nerds. I know that's like one of your biggest hobbies, because from time to time I am there watching, because there's just so much that I've heard you talk about, Terrence, when it comes to computers, that it's like, huh? I didn't know you could do that. And I am so happy to have my laptop back, man. I am telling you. What's even funnier, Terrence, is I told Geek Squad when I dropped off the laptop what was wrong with it. And the first dude that set up my appointment's like, oh yeah, that sounds about right. The dude that actually checked it in when I finally got to drop it off, he wanted to say that it was possibly two things rather than what I already knew it was. And I had guessed, just based on the sound of the computer, that it was a fan. Unfortunately, it wasn't just a fan. When that secondary worker there made his guess, he's like, oh, based on that, it sounds like it's either the hard drive or the fan. And if it's the hard drive, well, we'll have to take it apart, replace the hard drive, whatever you have, you'll lose. And it's like, no, it's the fan. I know it's the fan. Because if it were the hard drive, it wouldn't work. That's what happened with my first PlayStation. That hard drive went out. Once that hard drive goes out, you're screwed. But when I got it back the other day, the dude that gave it to me was like, oh yeah, fan trouble. Not only did they replace one, but they replaced all of my fans, because over half of them were not working. Which kind of shocked me, but at least it's back and it's working, so that's all that matters to me. Yeah, and thankfully I still had full use of everything. It was just that nice grinding noise of the fans not wanting to work. And I'm thinking, just based on the sound of it, it was the bearings were shot or something, because that whining like that was the only thing I could think of, was either bearings or there was something in there that it was catching on to make it variable on each time, because it would go in spurts. But we're getting close to the top of our hour mark. So if you have any more questions, feel free to drop them in real quick before we close out today's stream. be more than happy to answer them for you. And while I wait for a second on those, I will go back through our list of ways that you can monetize your hobby, because there are a lot of them. If you're a blogger or a writer on a website or a video content creator or a video podcaster here on YouTube, you can do Google AdSense, which will give you the ability to place ads on your website or your blog, or if you meet the YouTube requirements, you can have video ads on your channel, and you can make money for every 1,000 views of those ads. Then you have AFTRA, Artfire, Amazon Handmade, eBay, Etsy, Facebook Marketplace, Folksy, iCraft Gifts, Ruby Lane for doing all your handmade arts and crafts, type goods, paintings, photography, anything that you can hand make can be sold on any of those websites. And for our writers, you have Audible as well as the KDP through Amazon. Of course, you can do your digital books and audio books also on a couple of the other platforms like SoundCloud or Spotify, Teespring, depending on which format you want to go with, whether it's a digital book or an audio book. If it's a digital book, you can go through the Kindle Direct Publishing or Teespring, because you can actually do digital products on there and sell it outright as well instead of just going through Amazon. You also have the Barnes and Noble equivalent to Amazon or eBay as well. You can do digital products on there. For musician and audio creations, you have disc makers, Spotify, SoundCloud, Teespring. If you're a video creator, you can use Vimeo or YouTube if you meet the YouTube requirements. No problem, Vidal. Happy to help out. If you have any more questions or need help coming up with ideas, anything like that, just hit me up on the messenger and I'll help you. And that about does it for us for today, it looks like. No questions. So thank you all for joining me today. If you have any questions, feel free to direct message me on Facebook or any of the other social media platforms. You can also, if you're watching this on replay, comment down below with your question and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. But it is greatly appreciated that you came and joined me this evening. I hope you all have a good one. Thank you, Vidal, Inside Lab, PC Tech, Terrence, Ali, Jazeera, Kim Lackey, Coach Manny, Danny McKenna. Thank you all for stopping in. I hope you all have a good evening. Feel free to hit me up if you have any further questions, need help with ideas, anything like that. Be more than happy to help. Until the next time, I will see you tomorrow for the last day of the 7-day challenge. And then we will be back to our normal scheduled live stream scenarios Mondays. And I will be getting a hold of Terrence to do our monthly content creator showcase. Until then, stay safe, stay warm, and I'll talk to you soon.